Well, absolutely. That's where things become very, very and drastically different from earlier as far as the investigation perspective is concerned. Because once an individual has turned a prover, he will, of course, have his own version of what exactly has transpired. It may be different. It may match with what Manish Sisodia has to say on various events. And what is the response of Manish Sisodia to those statements of the individual concerned, Dinesh Arora, whose company was, of course, one of those which was investigated as far as this entire excise policy alleged scam is concerned. So these are going to be some very important aspects, and of course for Manish Sisodia and his legal team, that will be the main challenge, legally speaking, to surmount in terms of how they are able to counter what has been said by Dinesh Arora and particularly his team. But some other aspects of this investigation that my colleague Bhavtosh has been bringing us up to speed with, this is of course as far as the computer seized from CBI by CBI from Sisodia's office on the 14th of January is concerned. In fact, the investigators have said that though files were deleted, CBI managed to recover some records, and therefore in between CBI had also summoned a 1996 batch Danix official who was then the secretary to the Delhi Chief Minister for questioning on the said retrieve file. The official submitted that it was Manish Sisodia who called him to the residence of the Chief Minister when Satyendra Jain was present in mid-March and gave a copy of the GOM report. The 12% profit margin clause originated from this draft GOM copy is what sources close to the investigation are indicating. There are no records of any discussion of files relating to how the 12% profit margin clause was arrived at, and CBI said that they recorded the statement of the official before a magistrate to make him a prosecution witness in the first week of February, and this system seized from CBI's office, and the secretary's statement has led the CBI to Sisodia. He has, of course, Sisodia has since refused to give details of this GOM copy. So this is one of the specifics that CBI is likely to mention before the court today in terms of why the role of Manish Sisodia is very important. Because remember that if there is a file, if that file has been deleted and it was later retrieved by the CBI, why was that file deleted in the first place? What was the role of the secretary? And the secretary, having already given a magistrate statement, makes that even more important in terms of its evidentiary value and something for the judge to ponder upon as well. Now, the role of Manish Sisodia then also becomes important, because if there was such a file, why was it deleted in the first place? Was there some attempt at hiding or deleting some kind of evidence? These are going to be some very important questions also that could be raised by the
Madhav,
CBI.
we'll in fact wait and see how the proceedings in court pan out. But for the time being, let me also go across to Mayank, who's been tracking Sisodia's movements. Mayank, it was just a short while ago that Sisodia finally reached the Rouse Avenue court, and the hearing could begin anytime soon.
Well, absolutely, Siddharth. It was expected that he will be produced here at the Rouse Avenue court, because this is the special court of the CBI and ED in the National Capital Region, and it was widely expected that he will be produced here in this court around 2 p.m. But it was delayed, and because of the heavy police deployment here on this road, you can clearly see that outside the Rouse Avenue court, all the top officials of the Delhi police are here present to monitor everything. And because remember, just on the other side of the court, this is the first side of the court, Rouse Avenue court, and the other side of the court, there was a protest happening of the AAP supporters, so police could not take any chance, and that's why we are learning that production of Manish Sisodia got delayed by some minutes. But however, he has entered the courtroom and the proceedings has have begun. We are also learning the CBI has put forward request for custody to have custody of Manish Sisodia, so that they can have answers related to this case, the alleged Delhi excise policy scam, because there are multiple level of lapses on the part of Manish Sisodia that we have been reporting, and as the CBI sources have been claiming. So all those have been, questions have to be asked from Manish Sisodia himself, and after evasions from him yesterday when he was not answering questions properly, the CBI went ahead by arresting, and now he has been produced. So this is a big development, Siddharth, and it will it will come out very open in few minutes from now, that what the court decides as far as the giving custody to CBI is concerned, and that will clear some sort of understanding about this case and where does the case stand as of today.
And Mayank, also give us a perspective, since you were tracking his movements, because he's completely flanked by security officials, both from the Delhi police as well as the CBI. Was it very chaotic at the time that he was actually entering court? Because the corridor appears to be quite clear, but the moment he enters, there's like a big crowd that's following him. So tell us, give us a sense of the ambience as well at the time that he was produced in court.
Siddharth, since the morning, as I was clearly explaining you, that this is one part of the court, just outside the courtroom, the Rouse Avenue court complex. This is one part of the road, and on the left side is the court, and on the further left on the court, it was the protest happening between the Aam Aadmi Party supporters, who have been maintaining that this is a political witch hunt by the BJP because CBI has been working at their behest. So from the CBI, from the CGO complex where the CBI headquarters is, there was heavy deployment of RAF officials, and also a long convoy that we also chased and tracked when Manish Sisodia was being brought here. So Delhi police has taken upon themselves.
Okay, Mayank, I have to interrupt you. Madhav Das Gopal Krishnan has some more updates. Madhav, we're expecting the hearing to start anytime soon. And what's very interesting is what you also rightly said is the kind of legal arguments that the defense comes up with in order to seek bail for Manish Sisodia. Because right now, all we've heard is political arguments being put forward on the part of the Aam Aadmi Party. Obviously, that's not going to cut any ice with the court. It's the legal arguments that might decide the fate of Mr. Sisodia with respect to his bail application.
Well, absolutely, and that's a very important point because, Siddharth, this is really what matters. The political arena, the cut and thrust of politics, there are hard positions taken by different political parties. Legally speaking, what happens to Manish Sisodia will really determine the outcome as far as this entire case is concerned. It is perhaps the first day as far as this case is concerned. There will, of course, be a long trial and so on and so forth. But the entire aspect about what happens as far as Manish Sisodia and his fate is concerned today is very significant. Is there anything in terms of evidence that will be cited by Manish Sisodia and his legal team to show that he is not in any way connected with this entire scam? Is there any kind of documentation or provision that they have which they would be able to present before the court? How would they be able to counter the charges, legally speaking, that have been mounted by the CBI in terms of the role, in terms of the file that was recovered, for instance, or the role as to how the policy was formed? All of these are going to be important questions which, if Manish Sisodia's legal team addresses, would be very significant in determining how really the Aam Aadmi Party and, of course, Manish Sisodia would be able to take this case further. At this point of time, it does appear that the CBI, which has, of course, which claims that it has a lot of evidence that it has collected over a period of time, over the past several months of investigation, will all of that evidence actually hold water in a court of law is also something that is very significant. So it remains to be seen in terms of what those arguments would be. Remember that it is a very, very long drawn-out case with a large number of accused who have been detained over the past several months. For instance, there have been a South group which has also got several political connections, we have been told, by the various investigating agencies, and its role is also being looked into. So all of those individuals concerned, it's not just about Delhi, but it has, in that sense, ramifications for the state of Telangana and the politics that's playing out in that state as well. So clearly a lot of ramifications in terms of the entire import of this entire case. So a significant day for Manish Sisodia. If he does, and if the CBI does ask for 14 days of custody, as sources are indicating, how many days will the judge actually grant? It's not necessary for the judge to grant all 14 days in one go, and that normally doesn't happen. It could be 7 days, it could be 9 days, 10 days, depending on what the judge sees as the seriousness of this particular case and the need to interrogate Sisodia as far as the custody is concerned. So all of these are important aspects of the case that we'll perhaps get a little more knowledge on, a little more light on in a short while from now. But Times Now has put those questions across to Manish Sisodia. My colleagues Nilashish and Priyank have in fact spoken to Manish Sisodia inside the court. He has said that it is a political conspiracy, which in fact he has repeated. It's a charge that was repeated all day by Aam Aadmi Party yesterday, and now once again those charges being repeated by Manish Sisodia while entering the courtroom. What happens, of course, as far as the hearing is concerned, is going to be very significant. We understand that the hearing hasn't formally begun yet, and they are still waiting for that process of the hearing as far as Manish Sisodia and his production before the special CBI court is concerned to begin in just moments from now.